Hello everyone, it's NASCAR Game 10 back out with another NASCAR 84 career mode video. It's number 9 of the career mode on NASCAR 84, where we're just one away from number 10 now. Here's a look at the playoff standings, even though we're not in the playoffs yet. But even though usually today would technically be a crash completion, I decided to actually do the career mode because we haven't done many of them really, and we've nearly done more crash completions than career modes. So I decided to do another one today, but next week there will be a crash completion, I promise you that. So today we've actually changed up the intro, the outro, so you'll be able to see them when the video's done. Well, you see the intro already, but then we're going to be racing at Las Vegas here first. We finally changed the 22 car paint scheme here, where we actually had decent qualifying. We qualified 19th place, but then we gained 2 spots and qualified 17th. We did. So really, it was good qualifying for us. But then the race wasn't really much for us actually, because we didn't gain that many positions as I was expecting. I thought I was going to finish in like the top 5 or something, but clearly that wasn't really happening. But I did get a good start, but then began to actually drop back and make positions again. It was just a bit of, it was like a repeat button, it was. So today wasn't really our day for the Xfinity series, clearly, since we actually came to white flag and then out the final turn to actually come and cross the line in only P12 here. Only P12, and that's not very good for us really. But Chase Brisky would come to win here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. So clearly today was not going to be a good day really, so I wasn't really happy with the position, but we still were leading on the point standings, but only by 2 points, not that much anymore. But we came to the Cup Series here, where we changed back to the primary paint scheme here, where we sponsor Credit One Bank here now. But we came out the final turn here now, and it was actually a good qualify, just like the Xfinity series, where we actually did better. We actually got P16 here, and I was impressed with that really. I was extremely impressed, where I qualified 16th. My teammate Kurt Busch qualified on the front row in second, with Denny Hamlin starting on pole position next to him, but he barely just beats him there by 0.02 of a second, so barely just beats him there. So we'll go into the race and see what happens here now.
Today, the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series makes its first of 2 stops in Las Vegas for the Pennzoil 400 presented by Jiffy Lube. The field is stacked with drivers seeking to get on a roll, so let's head down to the track.
So here's the stories of the race. Denny Hamlin on pole position since he had the fast lap. Chris Buescher and Eric Jones going to rear. Chris Buescher crashed during qualifying. Eric Jones had his engine changed after qualify, so those two will go to the rear of the field. We'll gain 1 spot, which is from Eric Jones, so we'll start in P15 here now, and I'm actually glad because then we're starting on the inside lane. But we take the green flag here at Las Vegas for the first time in the Cup Series here now, where Kurt actually had quite a good start there, if you could see, and we had a good start there as well, but then it wasn't really much for this race either. It was a terrible race and everything, so not much, again, not much for us this race either, again like the Xfinity series race, but it was an alright start for us. We already gained 1 spot there, but we actually made a bit of a mistake here now, as when we came out of the final turn to complete lap 1 here, I actually went to the inside Bowman and ended up going 4 wide here, where Ryan Blaney was on the outside, and we ended up spinning out Bowman there into turn 1, so we already had a caution come out, and that was for me really, since I caused that wreck, because I didn't even realise that Ryan Blaney was right next to the wall, and I didn't realise it was 4 wide, so I did not really mean to do that, and I'm not a hater of Alex Bowman, he's actually my favourite driver, but we'd have to just move on from that really, because I was not really expecting that actually, but we'd come back to the green flag here, again at Las Vegas for stage 1, where we'd restart on lap 5 here now, where at least we restart on the inside lane here again, starting next to Kevin Harvick. but we go into turn 1 here with a we barely just got to the inside of Ryan Blaney there, and we actually had a much better restart there, where we actually gained quite a few spots there. We moved up in the P8, which was into the points area, where we'd get behind Chase Elliott. Here now we would, and we'd come to complete only 2 laps so far of basically this race. Really, we didn't only just completed lap 1, but we came to lap 18 where we actually dropped back a few more positions, where Ryan Blaney took away the points area from me, but I managed to actually get back to the inside of him there and get back P10 for the points. But I was extremely disappointed with the race today, because clearly we just didn't really have it in us for this race. But we ended up coming to the white flag here, just one more lap at Las Vegas for stage 1 here now, where I knew there was not going to be enough momentum to catch up to the cars ahead of us. But I did have more speed than them, but I knew that it would not be enough time to catch up to them, of course, here. But at least we were in the points area, but it wasn't going to be a lot really. But it's better than nothing really, so at least we got a 1 point, so it's not that bad, but still I'd rather have more points than just 1, because that's going to really affect our leaderboard here now, isn't it? But Alex Bowman comes to get P9, and Kyle Busch wins stage 1 here now. And I actually got a bit confused, because Alex Bowman restarted behind me, of course, but somehow he actually got past me at some point in the middle of the race, so that was a bit of a surprise from him. But everyone was going to come down pit road at the end of stage 1 here now, so now we'd actually managed to run on fresher tyres here on the restart here for stage 2. And it was a good pit stop there for us, where we'd actually gained 2 spots, and a very bad stop for Ricky Stenhouse Jr., since clearly he had to maybe get damage fixed or something there, so he actually dropped back 4 spots and had to start into P9 there now. But we restart here now with the green flag. And oh yeah, Alex Bowman, he didn't have a good stop either, where he'd lose 1 spot there as well from us, so unfortunate for him as well. But we managed to but it was quite a hectic restart there, where everyone was already going 3 wide down into turn 1 and down the front straightaway. We were 4 wide down the front straightaway, and I knew not to make a mistake, but I did end up making a bit of contact there with Ryan Blaney, but he managed to save it there. And I was actually glad that another caution did not come out there now, so I was actually quite glad that that did not happen, but it would have caused us to actually lose some positions here now, which was actually extremely unfortunate. But I did feel like that from the end of stage 1 I knew that I was going to end up having a bad day here now, so I wasn't going to expect the top 10, but I just tried to, it was just me in the corners, because every time I drive it in I always get loose and lose a lot of speed, and I just didn't know why I was getting loose either, so I think that was the issue that caused me to lose a lot of positions, because I just kept on, I don't know if it was me getting loose here now, or just like going too fast, too loose, and I don't know why I actually paused the screen there, so I don't mind that. But we did come to lap 11 here now, where we began to catch up to, where we dropped further back again, and we came back down to P13 there. But we actually managed to catch up to the 2 drivers ahead of us there now. But I didn't know if it was, I did know that it was going to be enough to catch up to them here, where Kyle Busch was still leading the race here now, where Ryan Blaney and Eric Almirola are battling for P11, but I don't really understand why they even bother if it's not even worth for the points, because you're not going to get any points really, are you? But but at some point Eric Almirola did take away 11th place, where I tried to catch up, but I couldn't get in the draft. I couldn't get enough speed, but I did end up eventually getting into the draft. But then when I actually did begin to get into the draft, there was actually trouble behind me. There was on lap 13, and that did actually cause. And that would have actually brought out the caution here, if you can just see right here now, where I'm pretty sure it was lap 13 that the caution did come out, just maybe not at this kind of point really, because I do believe I did actually lose some of the scenes here, so I did actually skip a bit of lap 13 there. But we did get to lap 14, the caution came out right there, as you can see, so we don't get any points sadly that stage, so very unfortunate for us, and I was actually not happy again, because it reminds me of Daytona. Stage 1 we didn't get points, then stage 2 we got loads of points, but still, clearly we're just not meant for the race today. But we'd come down pit road here for one more time, but then we would eventually have to actually make a green flag pit stop, where again it was another good pit stop for us. We gained 2 spots, and I didn't know why I was actually gaining more spots than all the other drivers. Clearly the pit crew were just good today, just not me driving the car. But we take the green flag back here now, starting behind Martin Truex Jr. here, where we have Ryan Blaney on our outside here to start the final stage here now. And we go into turn 1, and I actually did end up going a bit wide, and I do believe I did make a bit of contact with the 20 and the 22 there, because it was quite a good start for me, where I did gain not that many spots, but we gained a few. We moved up into P8 here now, where we ended up going side by side here with Alex Bowman, because clearly Alex Bowman, he was having a good day here since he was in the top 10 for the first time actually, because for all the other races, I believe he hasn't got a single top 20 actually yet, so it's been unfortunate for him as well. But clearly today would be the day that he'd finally actually get a top 10 finish. But then for me, I'd not even really have a good race, because I thought that when I got to this point I was actually going to have a good finish here now. But later on in the race I did begin to actually drop back, sadly. But we only had 27 more laps here, and I really wanted it. I'd rather just have a caution come out and just keep on having loads of cautions, just like when we raced in Atlanta, because there was actually quite a lot of cautions if you didn't see that video. More than I expected really, and I was hoping, and I really wanted cautions to come out now, or else I was going to lose more and more positions really. And if the caution came out on the final lap and I was still in this position, then I'd be happy, because then I'll still get lots of points here now, because I was beginning to lose speed against the drivers ahead of me, and the drivers behind me were actually beginning to go a lot more faster than me here though now. So that was quite unfortunate for me there, but later on in the race we would come in for my pit stop here now, because I was beginning to run out of fuel and the tyres were beginning to actually get extremely flat. And I realised, and I didn't even notice that there was a lot of drivers behind me when I came down pit road, but the race leader Kyle Busch actually would come down pit road here now. So that was a surprise it was, where I believe all Joe Gibbs Racings actually came down pit road this lap here. So I decided to get 1.5 cans of fuel and 4 tyres, and actually get that 1 second repair of damage fixed. Because when I actually came off of pit road here now, I actually thought that there was a problem here actually, because I began to lose lots of positions here now, and I was wondering what was happening. Why was I losing loads of positions? I think it's because I either took tyres or I got my damage repaired at the wrong time here now, because we ended up losing the race off pit road against Clint Boyer here now as well. But at least when I came off pit road this time I didn't get loose or anything, but then I managed to actually get off faster than Clint Boyer there. But I feel like that the other drivers were actually driving a bit slower, because I actually began to get a lot more speed than them really, so that was a bit of another surprise for me. But Ricky Stenhouse Jr., he actually overlapped me, I believe, on pit road maybe, so that was another surprise there, where there's the 48, he was actually going extremely slow, and I didn't know if it's because I had fresher tyres, but I actually began to gain quite a few spots here now. But then all of the other but then I felt like it was the fresher tyres, but I just wanted to know why I lost lots of spots on pit road, but I just don't know why, because I know it was either the damage or because I got tyres, because maybe the other drivers only got 2 tyres and I got 4, but I do drive in very fast into these corners, so that does cause me to lose a lot of pressure on the tyres here, really. So that was another thing to cause the tyres to wear out a lot. So that was extremely unfortunate, really. But we got from 29th back into 16th. But before, I was in a much better position than that. I was in the top 10, but now we're out of the top 10, and that's my goal. And I only had 2 more races to get 2 more top 10s, and if I didn't finish in the top 10 this race, then I'd fail to get the money from my team, really, and that's not going to be very good for the team here, really. But we did come to lap 65 here now, where we had a few drivers behind us, and I actually managed to gain 1 more position here now from Ricky Styles Jr., but then I actually ended up going wide into turn 1, and that caused Ricky Styles Jr. to take back P15 here, and I managed, and then I got caused to go back to 16th place here now, sadly, where I was driving extremely good into these corners really now, and I thought Ryan Truex was actually doing quite good, but then I realised he was in 39th, so we just overlapped him there, really. So yeah, there was only 1 wreck really this race. Well, there was 2 wrecks actually, because the yellow flag came out on stage 2, but couldn't find the footage for that, sadly. But when I actually tried to catch up to Ricky Styles Jr., my tyres were beginning to go a bit flat. They were already, and he was beginning to pull away somehow from compared to all of the other drivers. But we would come to the white flag here now, where Kyle Busch still leading the race, and he hasn't won a single race yet this season, really. But when we actually went into turn 1, the caution ended up coming out, so that would have ended the race. So the only position that we managed to finish in was only P16 here now. But Kyle Busch, he will finally come to win his first race of the season here now. And but Alex Bowman, he had a very good race day. He finished in 4th, and teammate Kurt Busch, he dropped back a few positions and finished in P6. But Alex Bowman, he gets his first top 5 of the season, so that's good for him, because he's going to get a lot of points here now, especially from the stage points that he's got, apart from. So I think, if I didn't wreck him on that second lap there now, I reckon he could have actually maybe won this race, to be fair, because he did look quite fast today, but we would drop back 1 position here now, so we'd go back to 9th place here now, but we were still in the top 10, so I was happy with that, actually, still. But Joey Logano would lead on the point standings. But we'd finally get our first 1 million fans, but we wouldn't achieve our contract there, sadly, since it's now expired. But I was surprised. I was actually a bit worried that I was going to get a hate message from Alex Byrne, but turns out that no one was actually sent me a hate one, so I had all compliments after that race there, luckily, so that was quite good for me. But after that race though, I realised that next up was one of the worst tracks that I've done ISM Raceway, because this track I honestly do not like racing at. And after that Las Vegas finish, that's really going to affect my point standings and my playoff chances now. But after ISM Raceway would be Auto Club, and I'm actually quite decent at Auto Club Speedway, so I knew that I might end up staying in the playoffs here now, but we still have a lot more races to go here now. But I will see you guys in the next episode here at the worst track ever, ISM Raceway, tomorrow.